Hello, Africa. Welcome to the AU Youth Corner podcasts from the Youth Division of the African Union Commission. My name is Amanda and I lead youth engagement at the AUC. In these series of conversations, I'm going to be speaking to some of my colleagues about their ideas, philosophies, and work in the Youth Division of the African Union Commission.
Today, I'm speaking to Nicholas Uma, who is our first guest in this podcast series, and he is the Senior Youth Advisor in the Youth Division. Let's start with a little bit about yourself, Nicholas Uma. If you can tell us a bit about who you are, where you're from, and what you've done up until now.
Thank you, Amanda. Professionally, I am a teacher of English language and literature. I taught for some time in Kenya. I also taught both at high school and at the university. Then I moved to youth development space, where I served as a district youth officer and rose through the ranks to be a county director of youth development in one of the counties in the Republic of Kenya called Taita Taveta County. And focus there was on empowering young people in their various livelihood issues, engagement, skills development, and also development and modernization of youth polytechnics. So that's what I did before joining the African Union Commission as a senior youth advisor.
So you've had a lot of experience in the education space and the youth space, which makes you the best person to be talking to today about skills and development. And you also have held my dream job, which is teaching English and English literature. So we'll have to discuss after this podcast how I can get into that system. So what does your day-to-day work look like in the youth division?
Yes, thank you. My day-to-day work revolves around engaging with young people and partners with regards to what needs to be done to strengthen skills development that will then enhance employability for young people in the continent. Reviewing member state actions with regards to their implementation of the various policies and programs that exists both at the African Union and also in the regional economic communities, and also engaging with young people to see what it is that they need to engage in order to develop their programs.
So it seems like you are facing a lot of stakeholders and you're speaking to member states, you work a lot with partners within the African Union and within the entire development and intergovernmental space. Why is all of this relevant to youth development on the continent? All this work that you've outlined, how does it raise youth development in Africa?
Youth unemployment is one of the major challenges young people in Africa face. And statistics also has it that most of the young people in the continent are either unemployed and discouraged. Others are also in vulnerable employment, and very, very few are in wage employment. So the policies and programs that we develop seeks to enhance skills development and provide opportunities for decent employment for the young people in the continent. This is critical.
I think that goes without saying. And so how can young people take advantage of some of these things? Sometimes some of the things we hear is that from the policy space to what they can touch and feel and see, it's too far. How do we bridge that gap, and how can we bring young people closer to the work that you do and have them benefit from these opportunities?
I think the onus is still on us to continue to advocate for what we are doing amongst the young people, and also for young people to be proactive and take up the various opportunities on offer, both by the African Union and also its partners, either for upskilling and reskilling, in order to be competitive and productive in the world that we are in today, which is also a very, very dynamic world.
What would you say are some 2 to 3 things within your work that you think every young person should know about? So this could be a strategy or a framework or a project that you think that could have more visibility among the young people that it's supposed to serve.
Number one, young people need to be proactive in knowing what their responsibilities and obligations are with regards to their development. They need to take charge of their own empowerment. There are instruments that will guide them in doing this. The premier one for us is the Africa Youth Charter. I believe all young people listening to me must have heard about this. Right now, we are in the second facet of its implementation. We developed the African Plan of Action for Youth Empowerment, and it's important that young people also know what is in this document so that as they engage, they also engage with some bit of knowledge on what is required of them from the continental perspective.
And what would you think that we can do better for young people? Because you mentioned that young people should take ownership, and rightly so, and make themselves aware of some of the things that are going on. But some of the things we always hear from young people is that they have little information. They're not able to know how to approach the African Union and how to get into the African Union. What can we, as the AU, especially in the youth division, do better to facilitate young people's access to us?
We need to do more with regards to our advocacy mechanisms so as to reach young people where they are. It seems what we have done may not have been enough, and we may not have reached all young people in every nook and cranny of the continent. So we need to do more with our advocacy. And then we also need to engage with youth leadership structures across the continent. So the onus is also on us to identify these youth leadership structures and also the key influencers among young people in the continent and engage with them with the hope that whatever we engage with them on will ultimately trickle down to their respective constituencies in member states.
Thank you very much. I think that cascading model is actually quite smart and what we aim to do with young people generally. So that's really great to highlight. So we're moving into a quick fire round. I'm going to ask you some questions. You don't think about it too much. You just answer right what comes into your mind as I ask the questions. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Ready.
Okay.
Fire.
Number one, first of all, how would you explain your job to a 5-year-old?
To a 5-year-old, I help young people acquire relevant knowledge and skills and support them with opportunities to get jobs and be productive.
If I were 5-year-old, if I were 5 years old, I would ask you, what is acquire? What is relevant? How would you think about the simplest words you could use?
I help young people get knowledge and skills and support them to get jobs.
Okay, what is the most rewarding part of your job in one sentence?
Serving young people and meeting a smiling, productive, and empowered young person who has benefited from my service.
What is the most surprising thing about working with young people?
Oh, they yearn for positive change in their lives, their communities, and their countries.
And finally, what is one thing you would say to young people out there just trying to make their way through life? From Uncle Nick, what advice are you giving them?
Be out there, find your space, and do your best.
And with that, we end this episode. Thank you very much, Nicholas Uma, for sitting with us. Thank you very, very much for taking the time, and we'll see you guys next time.